Hello and welcome back to this series of tutorials on Google Classroom. In this tutorial, we're going to look at the options under the About tab. So when I first go to the About tab, I'll notice a couple of things on the left. One is that I am designated as the teacher for this class because I created it. And there is a link to an email. This will pop open a web email application and allow me to send an email to myself. But more importantly, it might just be a quick shortcut to get into my Gmail to send, perhaps to somebody else. Okay, and of course I can type a subject, I can type my message, I can do attachments from my computer, from Google Drive, from photos, etc., insert hyperlinks, text, everything I can do with an HTML email. Underneath that is the option to invite another teacher. So if you're working with a co-teacher in this class, perhaps an inclusion teacher, perhaps you're co-teaching, or just want to share with somebody who does the same courses in your district, you can invite another teacher. And so they'll be listed here. You simply click on them, say next, and invite them. Teachers can do everything you can except for delete the class. So that's the only option they don't have. This is great for co-teaching. It's also great if you just want to share this space with somebody else. Remember, however, if you have separate classes, if you're both algebra teachers and you're teaching the same class, you could make someone a co-teacher, and that would allow them to come in and see the work and maybe copy some of the work out into their own classes, but you do want to keep your students separate. As we showed in an earlier visit, this is where we could rename our class if we needed to, give the class a description. Okay, I can give a room number. That's optional. And remember, of course, these are my links to my Google Drive folder for this class, so I can quickly get to where all the resources for this class have been stored. I can view the calendar. Let me save that for a second. I can view the calendar for the demo class, or I can open it in Google Calendar itself. But I can also add class materials. And this is where I'm going to put all the things that are general to the class that I want students to have access to all year. Clicking on that allows me to give it a title. And here's a bio. So I'm going to create a bio of myself and post it here. And I have several options for doing this. I can add an attachment. I can get something directly from Google Drive. This is a link to get a YouTube video, or I can just establish a hyperlink. Or I can do more than one. I can do a series of these things. Now I've decided that I want to include a bio about myself, and I also realize I haven't created it yet. So I'm going to use this option up here to go directly into the demo class folder on my Google Drive, because this is where I would like to store my resources, so it kind of makes sense to create them here directly. So I'll create a new Google Doc. It's telling me that when I create this in this space, it will have the same sharing permissions as the Drive folder. So since I'm sharing this with my class, they will have access to it. And that's fine. That's exactly what I'm looking to do. So I say OK. I'll type in some information, insert a picture. When inserting a picture, I have several options. I can upload a picture that I have on my computer. I can take a snapshot if I've got a webcam on my computer and it's configured correctly. I can put in the address of the picture. I can go to my albums and I can see that I don't have anything there that's particularly appropriate. I could go to my Google Drive at large, or I can search the internet. And for the moment, I'm going to search the internet, and I'll just choose this one for the sake of argument. I'll reduce the size a little bit, put a text wrap on it so the text comes up next to it. Maybe put a blank. Oh, maybe drag it down a little bit. There you go. So I can get my title independent of that. And now I'll just format the whole thing. So, yeah, I guess Arial is fine. We'll make my font a little larger. Center my title. Make that font larger and bold. And there's my bio. So I'll call this my bio. Of course, we are working in Google Docs in Google Drive. So things are going to save immediately. All changes are saved in Drive. So I can close that. You can see that it's in this space now. It's in this demo class 1 space. If I wanted to check the permissions, I don't need to, but if I wanted to, I could do that. You can see that I am the owner, and the teachers can edit it, but that specific people can access it. So therefore, when I assign this as when I put it into the About section, students will be able to view it. So let me close that and come back to my class. I'm going to come into my Google Drive space. You can see that my bio is in there, and I'm going to add it. Now, I could add an attachment directly from my computer. I could upload one. So let's just say I'm going to take this notes file and upload it. And that's now available to students. And if I come back into my demo class, I don't see the notes file. And I would really like that associated with this space. So where did it go? Well, because I uploaded, by default, it loaded directly into the root level, the top level of my drive space. So if I want that in there to keep things organized, I can just say Move To, right-click and click Move To. And then I'm going to have to find my classroom folder. Let me find that in here. Alphabetical. Within Classroom, I'm going to have to find Demo Class 1, and I can move it there. Again, it's going to warn me that the sharing permissions of that folder will apply to that new file. So let's go the easy way at this point and go back into Demo Class this way. And you can see that Notes is now neatly archived in there. And I can create a folder structure in here as well. I could put an About folder and put everything in that folder if I wanted to keep things even more organized. Okay, you can add a YouTube video. So if you've posted something to YouTube, or if there's something in particular that you want them to see, a video that you like in particular, you can simply search in the box and say Class Inspiration TED. Oh, this brought middle school classes to tears, so maybe I'll just do that. Obviously, I would like to check this out, but it does give you the opportunity to preview it here if you'd like. So there's a YouTube video I've given them, and I'd also like to give them a link to a hyperlink. So let me go find some quotes or something. There you go, motivational quotes from Rasmussen College. I'll just copy that address, go to hyperlink, paste in my link, and there it is. So 4 types of things that I can add directly into my space. A Google Doc, my note file. Because it's a text file, there are no previews available, so I do have to be careful about what I put in that space. A link to a YouTube. And a link to educational quotes. Now, these are not available quite yet. If I were to go into my student account and look here, I don't see them. And the reason is they haven't yet been posted. So I'm going to post those 4 resources. And there they are. Let's flip back to my student account. And I didn't even need to refresh the page. I get the links right here. Okay, let me flip back to the teacher account. There I am. If I need to make changes to this About section, and this is about me, one thing that I've posted there, I can simply edit it. So this is not really about me, it's more about overall class resources, and this, my bio, would be more about me. So I can change the title up there. I could also remove anything that I didn't like. Okay, I can add additional items down here. There is currently no method for reordering these, but I can add additional materials using the additional class materials link, just like I did before, and so I can add these resources in blocks. Let me cancel that. Now I'd like to show you one other trick or strategy for adding large amounts of material or sharing things more or less in a folder. It does involve some adjustments of permissions outside of Google Classroom, and you do have to be careful with it. So you have to be careful what you're posting in there and how available you're making things. But if they're harmless or if they're things that other people can view, then this can be an expedient way to get your material up with less work. So in order to do that, I'm going to go into my class folder. And you can see I've already created something called Class Notes. I created the folder, and I went in there and I created some files in there. And I'd like to share all of these with my students. And by default, it's only really going to be teachers that are going to see this. Now, if I tried to add a resource here, and I went to my drive, and I go to my drive, ooh, I missed it. Let's find my classrooms folder. There it is, Classroom. And I go to my demo class and I try to select that folder and share it. I can't. In Classroom, unlike Drive, I can share these documents, or I can post these documents on a file level but not on a folder level, which is inconvenient. So very briefly, there would be 2 ways to do that. I'm going to come into my drive space. Notice I created a folder with some files in it, and I'm going to adjust the permissions on the folder itself. And I can do that by getting a shareable link. And by changing this setting here, it's now going to open up to anyone with this particular link, anyone from my domain. But let me look at the other method. The alternate method would simply be to go to the Share option, go to Advanced, and change this to another setting, such as anyone within the district can see it, or even anyone with a link can see it. That would make it very public. inserting that as a link in Classroom will make it available.